Well, guys, once again, we're in another soil of Africa. And behind me here, this is Black Star Square in Ghana, Accra, formerly called the Gold Coast of Africa. The reason why we're doing this video, we cannot talk about Africa without talking about the great legends, the great true sons of Africa, the icons of Africa, the Pan-Africanists that has worked hard in order to liberate our continent, Africa. One is Ghana, formerly called the Gold Coast. In 1909, was born a child. A healthy bouncing boy was born. In 1909, was born a child who liberated Ghana, called the Gold Coast, from the hands of the imperialist British colonial masters who have come to Africa to exploit us, who came to Africa for their own selfish interests, who came to Africa to colonize and enslave our forefathers, took them to the Western world for their free labor. In that day, 1909, September 21st, was born a bouncing baby boy named Francis Nkrumah, Kwame Nkrumah, who was born in Nkrumah, Ghana, Gold Coast then. He was born in a small village, a fishing village, but after his education, primary and secondary school, the man later went to America to further his education, where in 1939, he gained his first bachelor's degree in arts and later gained his bachelor's in theology. He didn't stop there. The man went to further his education in the University of Pennsylvania, where he got his master's in philosophy and his master's of education in the University of Pennsylvania. Being an African activist who was fighting for the liberation of Africa, to see that his people and the continent of Africa was free at last, Kwame Nkrumah, as he was in college, he was among the Pan-Africanist Students Association of America, who were based in Pennsylvania. So coming back to his country, Nkrumah in 1945 took a very vital role in the 5th Pan-Africanist organization that was organized by the then the Pan-Africanist Union that was organized in Ghana. Kwame Nkrumah played a very vital role there. In 1947, Nkrumah, because of his political ideas and love for his country, he was inspired by the then political leader in Ghana called J.B. Nkrumah. Guys, if I'm saying the names right, J.B. Nkrumah in 1947 invited Nkrumah to be part of his government and hired him to be his general secretary of the convention of the Gold Coast. But because of their differences in their political ideologies, they couldn't go together. In 1949, Nkrumah built up his own party called the CPP, the Convention People's Party of the Gold Coast, Ghana. So, guys, where I'm standing today, it was the place Nkrumah took center stage and told the British to pack their dukas, and the Ghanaians are ready to rule their own government. On that day of March 6, 1957, Ghana gained its independence from the British Empire, who colonized us for 400 years. The reason why we are saying this, we want the people to know the culture of Africa, the African background, and much more the leaders that have worked hard to see that Africa was liberated. One like Nkrumah, one like Jomo Kenyatta, one like Stephen Biko, one like Aminata Cabral, Sadauda Jawara of the Gambia, Leopold Sedar Senghor of Senegal, Mobutu Sese Seko of Zaire. All these people are great African men that has worked tirelessly day and night to see that Africa was liberated, to see that Africa has its freedom. On that fateful day, Nkrumah took a center stage right here, as you are seeing. That's why it's called the Black Star Square. He stood right here to tell the British, Africa can run their own affairs. It's time for you guys to pack and go. Ghana is free at last. Freedom forever, and never shall it happen again. That's why I'm here today. I'm very delightful, very happy to be part and parcel of the people that have come to Ghana and take a center stage where our forefather, our great father, Dr. Francis Nkrumah, stood here and gave those remarkable words that freedom at last, and never shall we go back to slavery again. So my dear fellow brothers and sisters of Africa, no matter where you are born, just like Peter Tosh said, no matter where you are, as far as you are black, you are an African. We need to learn to love one another. We need to learn to appreciate one another. We need to be united as one. Africans need unity. Unity is the strength that will lead you to progress. Unity is the strength that will lead you to good and good manners of management, good manners of administration. Because without unity, we are nobody. Without unity, we are nobody. We should learn to love one another, because we have been through a lot. Africa has been through a lot. This is our continent. This is our motherland. No matter where you are born, in America, Canada, UK, you name it. As far as your skin is black, this is your continent. Africa is our continent, regardless. This is something I want to put to everybody who is in the diaspora. We should love one another. Humanity is about love, despite the race. Because in the eyes of God, we are all one. Everybody is equal. In the eyes of the Almighty God, we are all human, regardless. So we should learn to love humans. We should learn to love one another. This is Ghana, of course, Accra. This was the place, as I told you, Francis, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah took the center stage and said, Africa can run their own affairs. We don't need to be ruled again, and Ghana is free at last. He ruled until 1966, whilst on a mission on a UN, United Nations gathering. He was overthrown by the military and the police forces of Ghana, which some of Ghanaians up to date, they regret the demise of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. Because it's true that you can have a lot of kids, but the very good kids of your family is very hard to maintain. When you lose a good person, the sorrow lives for a long time. You never forget them. Kwame Nkrumah was a true son of Africa, and we definitely appreciate what he has done for Ghana. We really appreciate what he has done for the country of Ghana. We appreciate what he has done for the continent of Africa, because he was a true Pan-Africanist that has fought tirelessly to make sure Africa was liberated, to make sure we have our freedom. When we say freedom, it's the freedom of movement, freedom of speech, and that is what we have in Ghana today. So we are here to show you guys the center stage where Nkrumah took make his speech, rather, where he stood here and make his speech to show that Ghana is free and no more slavery again. And Africa is free. Slavery mentalities are over. They can never repeat themselves again. We are not in those eras of 1400s. This is the 21st century. My brothers and sisters, learn to love one another. Learn to love one another is very vital. As I said, despite the race, we are all human, and humanity is about love. When you love yourself, you should love other people. Just the same way you love yourself. Tend to love other people like the way you love yourself. Don't make this world a hard place to live. Who are you to tell me I'm an illegal immigrant? When I'm on the soil of the planet Earth. This is the planet Earth. Everyone lives on this planet called Earth. And it belongs to nobody but God. So who are you to tell me I'm illegal on the premises of the Earth, which is the planet of God? So, as I told you, we cannot talk about Africa without talking about our good leaders, without talking about the African icons. We cannot talk about Africa without talking about the people who has fought tirelessly, risked their life, their time, and energy to make sure Africa is liberated. Kwame Nkrumah is a good example. Even though I'm not from Ghana, but I'm an African. And I appreciate his work. I cherish him every day of my life for being a good Pan-Africanist that has helped Africa to gain its independence. I'm here. As you can see, this is the... You know, I'm here. This is the place where Nkrumah and many Ghanaians in those days was called then the Gold Coast of Africa, came and gathered, and Nkrumah made the speech. Yes, right. I have a Ghanaian brother here. He want to say something.
Yes, my name is Kofi. And Ghana people, they are very friendly. Dr. Kwame Nkrumah is a very good man. They are trying for the nation, everybody, the whole Africa to unite, to make together as one, because they are all one people.
Right.
Yes, Nkrumah is a very good man, and the Africa is strong. Africa is nice. Sunshine in Africa. Africa, Africa, Africa. I used in the Africa I know, the land with the riches, the land with the largest deposit of coal, diamond, bauxite, and even uranium. Ghana, they have a lot of things. They have a gold, they have a timber, they have a oil, they have a diamond. They are all one people, as my brother told. They are all put together as one. They are all unity. They are one people. Love it and share it. It's very important. And unity. I love you, my brother.
Thank you, my friend. Sure. What's your name again?
My name is Kofi.
Kofi.
Like Kofi, and I'm Friday born.
Friday born.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Kofi.
Sure.
So as I'm showing you guys, this is the square. It's called the Black Star Square. This was where Kwame Nkrumah came and make that speech that Ghanaians and Africans can rule their own affairs. We don't need the British to be ruling us, and slavery should be over. And Ghana is free at last. So it's a strong message. Coming here, standing here, I'm so inspired. Deep inside, I feel some kind of way, but at the same time, I must express my joy to know that I have also made it to Ghana to stand where my forefather, my grandfather, the father of Africa, Dr. Francis Nkrumah, took the center stage and told the white supremacists, it's time for you to leave our country because we don't need you in the first place. We were free before you guys, and you came with your ideologies of trying to change Africa into a better place by giving us better education and building us some churches, which was all stories. It was later found out they were only here for their own selfish interests in order to look for people, young African men and women, to take them, sail the road through the Mediterranean Sea, some of whom died before reaching their destination and thrown in the River Nile for their own interests, for free labor. That's why when you go to England, you will see that most of the railways that are in England were built by slaves, mostly Jamaicans and the Indians. When you go to America, the White House was built by our ancestors without being paid with a dime. When you go to other countries in Europe, most of those buildings you see were built by Africans. So my brothers and sisters of Africa, it's high time we say unity. It's high time we come together as one. It's high time we embrace one another, because our forefathers has been through a lot to make sure to see that we are liberated from the hand of the bondage. We are liberated from being nurtured by other people. We are liberated from being in bondage. That's why people like him, we can never forget them. Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, born in Nkrumah on the 21st of September 1909, was the Ghana's first prime minister, who later became their first president, and told the British, it's time for you guys to pack your dukas, and Ghanaians are ready to rule their own country. As you can see, this is the place in Ghana we are right now, Accra. That's the sign of the Black Star, which is the Arch of Independence. I'm going around the circle to show you the arch. Yeah, we can't forget them. We can't forget the true sons and daughters of Africa who has fought. They fought tirelessly. They put their energy, their time to see that peace and stability was restored back in our continent, Africa. Because we were not born colonized. We were fooled when they said they're gonna be building houses like churches, educate our kids, our forefathers then. But literally do we know that that was all planned, because it was their intent and their ways of taking our young and able men of Africa into the work of free labor. And as generation goes on, we will still talk about this. I'm coming. As generation goes on, we will still talk about this. Because it's something that is within us. We live with it every day. My generation, after my generation, after my generation, after my generation, everybody knows the history of what Africa has been through. The truth shall be revealed. There's no way we can sit and keep quiet about the truth of Africa. That's the truth. That's the Independence Arch. Of Ghana. And that's the Black Star Square from a far angle, next to the Independence Arch. By the way, this is Accra, guys. We're in Accra, Ghana, at the Independence Arch. Well, folks, that was a little brief. I know I have not said it all, but the little I know about Ghana, I've shared with you guys. Like I said, history will always repeat itself because it's here to stay in our mind. My generation, my children's generation, their other generation, you name it. It will trend from one generation to another. We'll never forget those days. We only suck it, but we'll not forget it. And we are in Accra, Ghana, guys. Once again, I thank each and everyone for watching. I thank each and everyone for sharing. I thank each and every one of you for subscribing to our channel. This is Ghana, guys. Accra, the Independence Arch.